up your YouTube, search for Stukeley Meadows, watch on your big screen.
Or another device if you're at home.
Get yourself comfy, this could take a while. What a happy scene. Something new every day for your long-term memory. This is so exciting, it is nearly time for a Stukeley assembly.
Well, hello there everyone, and welcome to today's curriculum assembly. Here I am, still surrounded by Christmassy things because we are coming up to the Christmas holidays, and in fact this is the final assembly of this term, or final expert assembly of this term, and we will be meeting the last of our 2021 experts today. But before we're ready for all that, let's get started in the usual ways. For each other we, every day we, to improve we, and together we will. And our everyday focuses are, and our Stukeley motto is, and our Stukeley curriculum is, and 4 words that make the magic happen. Excellent. Yes, so here we are, the last expert assembly, and we have met so many interesting people over the last few weeks, and I really think that I have learned quite a lot of interesting information. Hope that you have too, and I hope that it's got you all thinking about all the learning that we do in school and what it might be useful for and helpful for as we go forward. Now, I don't want to say too much about today's particular expert because I don't want to really give the game away. You see, when I heard what job he does, when he said what job he did, I had a kind of an idea of what that would be in my mind. But as I began to kind of listen to what he was saying about his kind of day-to-day activities within his role, I found out there was so much more to it than I possibly could have imagined. So I don't want to say too much. Now, I can say, however, that today's expert has a kind of a historical connection. And while history may not have been his favourite subject when he was at school, it certainly seems that having a good knowledge about history might have come in really useful in the job that he currently does, amongst other things. So a really important part of history when we're learning it at our school is this big idea of chronology. Now, chronology is about getting events in the right order in which they occurred, in which they actually happened. So think about placing people and events on a timeline through history from the earliest event to the most recent or most modern event, and making sure that everything is in its rightful place of when it actually happened. And that's actually really important to historians. But I thought it might be interesting to get us kind of into that history zone, getting our heads into the right places, if we had a little bit of a chronology quiz. Okay, so you can either just do this by calling out and pause teachers if you need to. You can get children to write them down on pieces of paper. Really don't mind which. It's kind of for a bit of fun, but it will be interesting to see what you do and don't know as well. So it's a kind of what came first round. So we'll talk about particular periods of history or events in history, and it's deciding which of the 2 options came first. Okay, so not in any particular order. It was just kind of as I thought of them. So either pen and paper or pencil and paper ready, whiteboards, pausing and just putting hands up, whichever is easiest. Let's get started. So, thinking about our chronology, event number 1. What came first? Was it the Paleolithic or the Neolithic age that came first? Can you see that? Yeah. Paleolithic or Neolithic first? Yep, that's right. It was the Paleolithic. Okay, so I'll give you the answers as we go. Next one. What came first? Was it the Iron Age or the Bronze Age? Yep, it was the Bronze Age. Well done, everybody. Next one. Are you keeping up okay? Pause me when you need to. Okay, what came first this time? Was it I forgot then, was it the Egyptians or the Greeks? Yep, that's right, it was the Egyptians, everybody. And what came first this time? Was it the Romans or the Vikings? Yeah, absolutely, it was the Romans. Here we go. So what came first this time? The Anglo-Saxons or the Normans? What do you think? Anglo-Saxons or Normans? Yep, it was the Anglo-Saxons, everybody. What came first this time? Next one. The Victorians or the Georgians? Come on, year 6, you definitely should know that one. Victorians or Georgians? Yep, it was the Georgians. Well done. Okay, here's one that I hope you two are going to know the answer to. What came first, year 2 and everybody else? Was it the Great Fire of London or World War II? So how did you do, everyone? What was your sense of chronology like? What historical periods did you know and get into the right order, I wonder? I wonder where the gaps were in your knowledge. Maybe you've yet to learn about those. You might not have covered them yet, especially if you're in Key Stage 1. Maybe you've just forgotten, so it might be time to revisit those knowledge organisers. Anyway, today's expert knows a thing or two about chronology as it happens. See if you can spot any of the time periods we've just heard about mentioned in his video. Also, he does a really good job of explaining how we learn about the past. How do historians go about doing their history? Year 3 also pays special attention. All that learning you did about Mary Anning a little while ago might come in useful. So, without further ado, let's find out from today's expert. Here we go, everyone.
Hello, my name is Hilton Law and I live in the cathedral city of Ely. I am married to Nikki, who by coincidence has known your Mrs. Eakins since they were together at primary school some 145 years ago. No, some 45 years ago, and they are still the very best of friends. Nikki and I have 3 children, William, Bethany and Rebecca, and we also have 2 grandchildren, Max and Isla. At school, I was very studious and I was always keen to learn. I was clever at mathematics, and at primary school I once had a stand-up maths competition with a teacher that made me the school hero for a day or two. But I soon lost that title when I arrived at the school fancy dress party a few days later, dressed as a yellow and pink elephant. My dad used a combination of potato sacks and he made me an elephant's body that went over the top of my head like a coat, and my arms and legs went through holes in the side and bottom, and I had a tube-like trunk. But to this day I still do not know why he painted it yellow and pink. I looked very silly. I couldn't find a picture of a yellow and pink elephant to show you how silly I looked, but I think I looked something similar to this, or maybe even this, or a combination. I liked primary school and I used to be the milk monitor. With power comes great responsibility, and I think this is a Spider-Man quote. And I was the chosen one for a period to deliver the bottles of milk to all my fellow pupils. I was the milk monitor, which is a very important job when I was at primary school. Do you still get a bottle of milk every day? Ask your parents or your teachers, maybe your grandparents, if they used to. When I moved to secondary school, I wasn't as clever as I thought I was, and I did struggle at first, but I worked very hard. I had lots of friends and I became a school prefect. I had a very good imagination when at school, and I used to read a lot. I also enjoyed writing short funny stories and was always drawing pictures. I still like to write stories and I love to draw when I have the opportunity. I managed to leave school with some good qualifications. My area of expertise: I'm a quarry manager. I manage the largest sand and gravel quarry in the UK. This is at Needhamworth, not too far from where you are now. We excavate over 1 million tonnes of sand and gravel a year, and most of this material goes into the building industry to make concrete, building blocks, roof tiles and things for the building industry. I am responsible for everything that happens on this site, including all the people, the operation, the health and safety, the quality, environment and the ecology. and I have a budget to spend in excess of £4 million. When Needhamworth Quarry opened in 1996, its restoration target was originally to create water lakes and low-level agricultural land. However, the company joined forces with the RSPB and a partnership was formed, which has allowed a much more sustainable operation to be planned. The Hanson RSPB Wetlands Reserve at Needhamworth is being created within the worked areas of the quarry, and when it is completed, after all the quarrying is finished, it will be the largest man-made wetland habitat of its kind in Europe, and it will hold national importance. Already it is very well established and attracts wildlife such as bittern, water voles, marsh harriers and all kinds of insects and rare fauna. And all this is visible by accessing the footpaths and walkways that we have created through the quarry and the reserve. So I am a quarry manager, but my responsibility is more than just managing a quarry. What is my biggest challenge? Well, before we can dig the sand and gravel out of the ground, we have to first consider the ecology and ensure we do not harm or endanger any animals, birds or their habitats. We survey the area, and if we find any endangered species such as badger, water vole or great crested newts, we then apply for a licence with Natural England, a government body, and we ensure we move the species carefully out of harm's way. Sometimes building them new homes, as we do for badgers, and sometimes just catching and moving them. Last year we moved 38 protected water vole 300 metres to a safe area, and it cost the company £800,000. That's £21,000 per water vole. We also need to ensure we monitor and record any archaeology that may be in the buried soil. At Needhamworth we have uncovered Iron and Bronze Age settlements, Neolithic evidence and Roman farmsteads. We have found burial mounds that contain skeletons and valued treasures, as well as many artefacts and precious items. All these are recorded and safely stored for future generations to further learn from. The sand and gravel that we dig from the ground was deposited some 40,000 years ago, during and after the last major ice age, when there was very little ice over lowland Britain, though there were glaciers further north. As part of the slow glacial wash, summer melt waters would run rapidly over the frozen ground below, carrying any sediment they could pick up. These were then dropped out of suspension when the current became less, thereby producing the sand and gravel river terrace deposits that sit at and around this area that we now quarry. Sometimes, within the sand and gravel we find fossils of animals long extinct, such as the woolly mammoth. The last known one in Britain was about 14,000 years ago. They were like hairy elephants, and they looked something like this. I don't know if you can see that very well. Or if you want, there's a little cute one, but they're woolly mammoths. And they walked around here, this area, about 14,000 years ago. And as you can see, they had these tusks, and this is a fossil of one of the tusks that I found in the sand and gravel here. The sand and gravel sits upon a deep layer of clay that was laid down during the late Jurassic period, some 160 million years ago, at a time when most of southern Britain was at the latitude of Greece, or Mallorca today, 38 to 40 degrees north. It has been the slow movement northwards of our tectonic plate since the Jurassic period, which has us at our colder latitude of 55 degrees as it is now. 160 million years ago, much of Jurassic southern Britain was covered by a warm, fairly shallow subtropical sea in which mud, silt and sediment settled. And through millions and millions of years, this mud has compressed into the clay that we sometimes dig into. And every so often we find fossilised Jurassic sea creatures that would have lived millions of years ago, such as ammonites. This is a fossil of an ammonite that my daughter Rebecca found at this quarry when she was 8 years old. And this sea creature would have looked something similar to that. It's not very clear, but they were very similar to octopus and squid. Ammonites are an extinct group of marine mollusks, and they're more closely related, as I just said, to sea creatures such as the octopus or squid. The earliest ammonites appear some 400 million years ago, and the last species died out during the end of the Jurassic period. Their soft body parts are very rarely preserved in any detail. Many ammonites probably lived in the open water or ancient seas rather than at the sea bottom. Many of them are thought to have been good swimmers with flattened, discus-shaped, streamlined shells. The soft body of the creature occupied the largest segments of the shell at the end of the core. The smaller, earlier segments were walled off, and the animal could maintain its buoyancy by filling them with gas. I enjoy being a quarry manager. Every day is different, but my favourite time is when I have the chance to leave the office, go for a walk and look for fossils. If you would like to be a quarry manager or work in a quarry, then you need to work really, really hard at school and get some good qualifications. Remember, always ask lots of questions and keep learning all the time.
So we're back again. So what did you make of that? Our expert has to cover a lot of different areas of expertise, doesn't he, in terms of his job? I talked a lot about the fact that he seemed to do a lot or know a lot about history. All of those fossils that he found, evidence of mammoths living in this area. What else did he talk about? Talked about those ammonites, didn't he? That was the Mary Anning bit that reminded me for the year 3. There were lots of things. So fossils played a really big part, and he enjoys going fossil hunting. That mammoth tusk was amazing, wasn't it? So there's all of that aspect of it. But it also made me think about how much kind of science and biology in particular that he also had to know about, because had to have a good understanding of how to kind of preserve and protect the ecostructure of the area where the quarry is. And as I said, it's kind of just across the river a bit from near where I live. So having a really good understanding of plants and trees, as well as animals and kind of rare creatures and things that exist in that area, and how best to protect them and to look after them and make sure that it's sustainable, so that going forward the area can be used and enjoyed and become a really great natural habitat, as well as the quarry and all the work that goes alongside it. So really, really interesting. What a varied job that he does, and what a responsible job. I think he said up to £4 million a year would be his budget. That's a lot of money, everyone, and a lot of responsibility to know how best to use it. So there we have it, another expert talking and sharing about the work that they do. So I wonder if that's something you might be interested in. Maybe you'd not considered about being a quarry manager, but you might be interested in a job that involves looking for fossils and hunting for clues about the past. So lots and lots of things for you to think about there. And here we go into the last few days of term. Definitely work hard and be kind, everybody. It is coming towards Christmas after all. So I will see you on the other side of the Christmas holidays, if not before. Have a great rest of the week, everyone. See you soon.
Oh, it's great. It's great to finish the year with an expert. What a great idea it was, Mrs. Stevens, to get the experts into our curriculum assemblies. Now, let's do some birthdays. Hey, 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 it's time to say we've got a Stukeley birthday. Hey, 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 it's time to say we've got a Stukeley birthday. Oh, come on! We have no Stukeley birthdays today, but we have got some this week, and then we've got loads to celebrate over the Christmas period. Let's move on to everyday knowledge for you. And we are learning to remember things worth remembering, learning to remember things worth remembering, learning to remember things worth remembering, everyday knowledge for you. And we are learning to remember things worth remembering, learning to remember things worth remembering, learning to remember things worth remembering, everyday knowledge for you. Oh yeah, love doing it here. I mean, we've got a couple of weird bits of light coming down, but apart from that, okay, let's do this. In which year was the Great Fire of London? That's right, 1666. In which year did England men win the Football World Cup? That's right, 1966. Okay then, when was the Battle of Hastings? Yes, 1066. They all had 66 in, right? Very interesting. Okay, in which year was Charles Dickens born? 1812, congratulations. What about Roald Dahl? When was he born? 1916. What about the year that Guy Fawkes came up with the Gunpowder Plot? 1605. Okay, we're going to finish there because I've got quite a lot of festive bits to do. Don't forget, in January, the brand new Everyday Knowledge is brand new because that's why it's called Brand New Everyday Knowledge. See you for the festive bit. Yes, we're getting closer to the big day. We are getting closer. And we got this little guy. I brought him all the way from my garage just to do this, and then he's going back to the garage again. So it is the 14th. Oh, absolutely brilliant. Oh, have you seen today's advent window? Have you seen it? If you didn't catch the letter, better flip back and have a look. But it was in there. I'm telling you, it was in there. Absolutely brilliant. Right, let's finish up with some of your Christmas messages. You haven't got long to get these in. Make sure you get them in Thursday at the latest, and I'll try and get it into assembly. There's music going off all over the place. I just can't cope. Yes, stop. Mrs. Warham has put a little musical pad under the doormat outside my office, and every time I put something on it, it goes off. Anyway, here we go. Oh, I love this one. To Mr. Singletary and Stukeley Meadows Primary School, Merry Christmas to my best friends Deanna and Bianca and the rest of Year 6. That's from Genevieve in Year 6 Oak. I love that one. This one says to Mr. Singletary, I wish you a Merry Christmas and I hope you have a good day, from Isabella W in Year 3. Thanks, Isabella. This is to whole of Year 4 from Emmy. To my friends and staff, Merry Christmas from Emmy in Year 4. Thanks, Emmy. Good job. Really like this one. This came to me on email. Yeah, I love this one. This one is to Mr. Singletary. I hope you have a nice Christmas. Love from Daisy in Year 1. Thank you, Daisy. Oh, lots of you have put so much into these. It's just great. I love this sky. To Mr. Singletary in the school, Merry Christmas from Arabella in Year 2. Really like that one. Oh, look at this. To my friends and Mrs. Bradbury, Merry Christmas from Ree in Year 5. Love a snowman picture. I think we've got another one here from Arabella. She's really coming at us. I hope you have a nice Christmas from Arabella. Love that. Christmas tree and a little snowman on the inside. And then, although this isn't a Christmas picture, Arabella has written a story which I've been reading, A Bear Called Winter. It's a really great story and I'm going to read that when assembly's finished. Brilliant work, Arabella. Thank you all for your Christmas messages. Thank you if you bought some tombola tickets yesterday. Sorry if you didn't win. You've got another chance with some of the grown-up gifts today and this week. Okay. Have a good rest of the day. I'll see you tomorrow for reading assembly and more Christmas carols.